Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. And today, well, first off, the gameplay footage you're watching in the background, I absolutely have no idea what I did to matchmaking, what I did to RNGesus, or what. I could not get a decent match to save my life in the 3 hours I sat down just to record some random background footage for this video. When I do videos like this talking about dev blogs, dev articles, update notes, or whatever, I'm not necessarily looking for a particular replay or a particular anything, unless I'm talking about a certain ship, then I'll, play a certain ship, try to play a certain way to show off its strengths and weaknesses and things like that. But this footage was just supposed to be a decent match in whatever ship. And I tried from tier 6 all the way up to tier 10. I could not get a decent match for anything today. And it's a lot of the teams collapsing, their enemy teams running away the second my team's making contact. I'm literally having to, I don't know what replay you're watching, but there's some matches where I literally had to go chase down the enemy team just to try and do damage and get a decent match out of whatever ship I was playing. And I think the situation, especially at higher tier, is going to be amplified by the topic of today's video, that tier 11 is happening and it's coming in update 11.3. Now, I'm of course talking about the super ships. These ships are essentially tier 11. I mean, even with the way they're implementing them into the tech tree now, like when it was first explained that they said, "Oh, we're adding these to where you'll be able to access them in the tech tree." Once you get to X spot here in this nation's tech branch, you'll be able to access the super ships. And I thought, okay, maybe it's going to be off to the side where the premium ships are at that you can only buy for doubloons in the tech tree. But no, I mean, look at the graphic here. They're literally in the next slot in the tech tree. So again, literally just tier 11. This is where a tier 11 ship would go if it were to be an official thing. But they're special ships, they got the star next to the name. Not fam. They're tier 11. So yes, they're coming in the tech tree in full in 11.3, which is the next patch. Now they did release a dev article today about this, and that's what we're going through with the super ships here. So they say in update 11.3, super ships will be added to the tech tree. After several months of testing in various game modes, they are going to become a logical continuation of their branches and will be available to the following players: those who have researched or purchased at least 3 tier 10 ships, those who have researched a tier 10 ship of the corresponding branch. So again, the second way you access these super ships is you literally have to research the tier 10. Well, again, like it's tier 11. Update 11.3, the ships you're already familiar with: the Satsuma, which is the super Japanese battleship; the Hanover, which is the super German battleship; the Konda, which is a super French heavy cruiser; the Annapolis, which is a super American heavy cruiser; the Yamagiri, which is the super Japanese destroyer; the Zorki, which is literally a Khabarovsk; the United States, which is the American super carrier. And again, the United States is literally a super carrier. And then the Eagle, which is the British super carrier as well, will be added to the tech tree. Now they state down here, if the research bureau is available to you and you purchase a super ship, she will not be reset and will remain in your port after you reset a branch of researchable ships. Okay, so super ships, my whole thing with super ships is that it's really going to throw, of course, matchmaking a curveball. Because now we've got these ships, in the case of the super battleships, with multiple 20-inch guns, insane armor, and yeah, they were fun to play. They were fun as hell to play in the super ships game mode, the super battleships game mode, because it was just super battleships. There were no super cruisers, super DDs, or anything like that back when they first tested these ships out. And yes, it was cool to see these what-if ships come to life. The Hanover is very close to an H-44, probably the closest we're going to get to an actual H-44 in game. And the Satsuma's really cool too. It is a Shikishima with another turret welded onto it, but it's still a pretty neat ship to see and play in battle in that particular game mode. But now these ships are going to become common, everyday things in the game. when at high tier we're already seeing a very, very, very stagnant meta. Now, again, just watch. I'll probably show you freaking 2 or 3 games because I didn't have mini games that went beyond the 10-minute mark that were more exciting than watching paint dry. I'm having to literally chase down the enemy team to do anything. That or the friendly team or enemy team is getting rolled so hard that the match ends in 8 or 9 minutes before a good amount of the players have a chance to do anything in the match. And now you're adding in these Superships, which are fantastically better at doing damage than the high tier ships already are. And that's not even mentioning the super carriers. So you're now having World War II-ish era ships having to fight aircraft, jet aircraft, not early jet aircraft either, like the freaking 262 or anything, into the 50s and 60s jet aircraft that they never had to fight in real life. Traveling much faster, able to cover the entire map in a few seconds. And that's not even, of course, talking about the spotting either, coming from these aircraft that can traverse the map in a few seconds. Now, of course, with the jets, they can't really loiter on station because they don't really have a lot of health. Speed is the way that they keep that they're kept alive, so forth and so on. That's very, very much true for the time being. But they're not just going to stop with this handful of super ships. You can be pretty darn sure that before too long, every line will probably have a super ship in it. If not every branch will have a super ship in it, and every line and every branch probably will too before too much longer. And again, that's just going to stagnate the meta so much more at tier 10, and I'm not really a big fan of it. Again, it was cool, it was neat when it was in its own special mode where you could go around and just try to hunt down these super ships. Again, it was supposed to be a challenge to try and kill these things because these things have so much armor, so much health, their guns are massive. But now they're being added into the tech lines. Now, granted, Satsuma and the Hanover, they've gone through a lot of changes. They have been nerfed quite a bit from their original place in the Super Ships game mode. And they are much better balanced to, of course, play. But, yeah, I just don't like it. I think it's going to stagnate the meta at high tier even more and add even more chaos into the current meta at high tier. Well, not add chaos, because chaos would probably be a bit fun. It's just going to keep the meta very, very stale, unfortunately. Now, what's also worth note is that submarines are back. I completely forgot that they were supposed to come back this update until today. With I don't know if you're watching the match. I was playing the Incomparable, trying to get some decent footage for you guys to watch, and then boom, the submarines are back. So they say the Warships team is constantly working on improving the game and making it more diverse and interesting. As part of update 11.2, we're going to present the updated submarines. Submarines are available for testing again. In this new round of testing, we've gone above and beyond to address many of the issues raised by our player community. Everything from subs being hard to detect and interact with to the unstable, damage-dealing capabilities of submarines. We made both playing and counting submarines more intuitive. Now, the way you get them this time around is you have to complete sequential combat missions, and I haven't done any of that yet. And like we discussed in previous devblog videos, submarines have been nerfed fairly hard, and I can tell you from playing the Incomparable, quite a weak ship, by the way, in terms of its survivability. Of course, it's a battle cruiser. It's a giant, absolutely massive battle cruiser with, I believe, the lowest HP pool at tier 10. And I ate a full serving of, I think it was U-2501 torps, which normally would have been an absolute death sentence before for a normal tier 10 battleship with tier 10 battleship levels of health and torpedo protection. But I ate pretty much all of them, I do believe, right on the nose in the Incomparable, and it was a minor inconvenience. Yeah. So yeah, their damage has been absolutely nerfed. They are very, very, very easy to spot now and to just dunk on with the airstrikes. Now, of course, the airstrikes have changed a little bit. You can't absolutely coat the map with the ASW aircraft anymore, but I mean, still, with three or four ships around, if a submarine gets spotted, it's essentially dead. It's not going to live for too long, thanks to the changes. but I'll probably get my hands on them and probably do a proper video on them. Just wanted to let you guys know that they are back, and if you do want them, you have to complete the sequential combat missions if you want to take them out for a test drive. Is this the last iteration of them before they come out? Probably not. As we've seen, they've had a hell of a time balancing these things, almost like they were never intended to be in the game or something. But anyway, I just wanted to give you guys my 2 cents on those topics. Again, not a fan of Superships coming to the tech tree. I think they'll unfortunately just lead to more stagnation, higher tier, and Submarines are back for testing in a very, very, very much nerfed state. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 35,000 subs, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Thursday, a wonderful rest of your week, and hope to catch you guys in the next one.